What I know about OpTic Gaming as a team, they're a very clutch team, but very honestly beatable. I know my team's got the talent to beat them, we just need to clutch up in certain situations.
This is one of the 3 major events this year, so that's going to mean a lot, but we want to try new things this weekend.
What makes OpTic such a great team on this game anyway, it's basically slaying power. They've got 4 players that can always turn up at any given time.
I've probably been, I don't know, dedicating like 10 hours a day to this. Watching myself play, watching other teams play, so it's been a true grind. We're going to be focusing a lot on perfecting our hard point and, winning every single hard point we possibly can.
As long as you stay calm and composed and just talk to your teammates, have good communication, you can easily win.
Something just clicked in my head saying, like, I need to get better. Even though we're the best team in the world, like, that's the only thing I wanted to do.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Call of Duty World League presented by PlayStation 4. Day 2 underway. It's been a good one. E6, of course, starting off strong, a 3-0 result for them. But up next, we have OpTic Gaming in action. It's their first time playing against Elevate this weekend. I'm excited for it to get underway. I actually wanted to kind of start this discussion with you. From what you've seen from Elevate, what do they need to do in this series to stand a chance and potentially cause one of the biggest upsets so far?
I feel like just consistency overall. You had monster games from certain players here and there, but I feel like if they all just get on the same page and they all play well, I feel like they can, do really well.
All right, well, let's take a look at the maps for the series as well, because this is obviously going to be pretty crucial, and I want to get both of your opinions really on the maps. And is it going to be favorable? I mean, a Scorch, Hardpoint, Crusher S&D, Precinct, Uplink, is this going to be a 3-0 mark?
Yes, absolutely. But if there's any chance, I think it's game number 1 for Elevate.
Okay.
Their hardpoint was pretty decent yesterday. If Zed and Watson are able to pick it up, I saw some great plays out of Rated and Reedy. But, Crusher and Precinct, I just think that's the bread and butter of OpTic Gaming. They've been so good on those maps the entire year. So if Elevate's going to do any damage, it's definitely going to be on map number 1.
Yeah, I'm with Merc, man. It's going to be a 3-0. Like, unless they find like a new Call of Duty related deity to pray to, like, I don't think there's going to be much hope for him in this. That being said, OpTic Gaming did come out as a very slow start yesterday. That slow start only lasted for about 5 minutes, and then they completely turned it around. But there's hope, maybe. Not a lot, but something.
I mean, the slow start was what? Down 120 points, and then they still come back and win the map, so.
Well, Scump was a huge reason because, he started slow and he picked it up, like I mentioned earlier. If a player starts slow, it's tough at times, but as soon as he picks it up, the team just brings it back almost every single time.
And that's sort of been the issue throughout the Global Pro League is some of these European teams, they come out and have great games versus these top North American teams, but they're only playing a half, quarters of that game. And as soon as they allow those North American teams to get back into the game, you have a player like Scump, goes on a 10 streak, changes the entire game, and they're able to come back. So if Elevate, they have to play the entire game to their fullest potential.
It definitely can spiral out of control very, very quickly if you don't keep it under wraps. But I believe the game is actually about to start, so we can send it down to our fantastic casters for this series. It's Maven and Courage.
Thank you, gentlemen. Wonderful stuff as always. All right, so in this series, we have our 2 top respawn KDs coming into today. Rated was actually sitting at number 1, which surprised me, but he had some monster games. He had like a 40 and 20 performance yesterday, and then I believe Formal number 2, so that head-to-head could be interesting.
Didn't Rated also have the lowest S&D KD too, so it's like, you got the best of both worlds from him. They need that high respawn KD going up against the slaying potential from OpTic Gaming. Either way, OpTic far and away the lead in this group right now at 2-0. 6-2 map count up to this point. Elevate and crew, they tweeted it. I just saw Reedy say it's a new day. They've got to turn things up right now. And when you talk about map count as the weekend goes on, they've got to take some here off OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, somebody's got to play spoiler at this point because OpTic seems in firm control with the E6 3-0 we just saw Vert Reserve. I mean, that. If you thought it was going to be a battle between those two teams.
Call them Vert Reserve? I don't think.
Red Reserve? Vert Reserve?
I think.
I don't know. I don't know, Jack. It's the first cast of the day. I'm going to drink some water.
Either way, I'll let the crowd know here. We got a packed house. It's the sold-out MLG Arena in Columbus, Ohio. They're watching on the big screen right now. I gave them a little pep talk earlier today. We'll see if they get loud. We're having our competition, which we can get the loudest. It's game 1 between OpTic Gaming and Elevate here on Scorch Hardpoint.
All right, and kicking thing off with Formal on the break. Scorch Hardpoint is going to be map 1. Everybody be opting to hit bridge. We can swap off him. Let's get back to mid-map towards Crim6 and crew. We'll swap over to Rated right now from Elevate, see what he can do.
Yeah, Rated just trying to stay alive as he's already weak. OpTic just surging right on through. Now Formal just using that top hut for cover. as OpTic Gaming do win directly off the break, and Rady just killed his teammate Watson with a cluster grenade.
Yeah, and you should get a solid 30, 40 points when you're spawning on this side for OpTic Gaming. The question is going to be, how does the break go when you try to get into Turbine? You see on the left side of your map, the 5, 7 popping up, getting going right now is Scump now starting to erupt. He's got 3 kills in a row, sitting at 4 and 1. A nice start for him. And now these are going to be the crucial kills. You see at the top of the map, number 3 hitting 4 and 2 at the bottom with Scump and Karma.
Yeah, they're going for this big pinch. They have no idea Crimsix is here. He somehow snuck by Watson from the side of Elevate. And just like that, OpTic Gaming break on through Scump. His 4th streak now gone, but the 5-1 start much better than what we saw at times yesterday.
Well, you have more spawn influence on the bottom side of the map. So if you're OpTic, you're going to spawn close there at the observation deck, and you're able to flood yet again. Elevate had 1 player left up, but they need to wait on their teammates to rotate the whole way over from Hangar. And now we're going to have another 4v4 engagement. First one goes the way of Zed. Able to take him out. Watson gets another. Formal trying to answer back, but it's now 1 player remaining for OpTic. Nice, clean sleep from Elevate, but they need it. They've got like no points.
Actually crazy to think that there's still 35 seconds remaining on this hard point. I feel like already so much stuff has happened, but still a big chunk of time for Elevate to now get to cut away at that OpTic Gaming lead. You gotta like what you're seeing right now from Raiden. We mentioned it's high respawn KD, showing it here as he's just letting OpTic Gaming players run straight into his sights.
Yeah, and respawns again, he was beautiful yesterday. Solid stuff here. We'll see if he can build towards some streaks. Still quite a ways to go to get to Trinity Rocket and Bombardment, but there he goes. Cut down, 2 kills coming in for OpTic Gaming. Scump trying to tack on a 3rd.
And Scump still just staying aggressive, cool down a little bit from that hot start. 4 deaths in a row from him. As now OpTic Gaming will sit up in this top Hangar hardpoint as everyone from Elevate trying to hit bottom middle map. They're trying to go for those spawns, and OpTic are completely ready for it. Look, Karma's just dancing around. He's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, he hasn't had to get involved at all. Just hitting the wall right up top, making sure he can surprise a player maybe coming in from the bottom doorway. Now checking over Skybridge, but look how far you're pushed out. Formal's like the whole way at the backside of rocks, and now he's got to rotate back though and help. His teammates still spawning up in the hard point, but 2 have busted through for Elevate. I like this. Wrap around the front, cut off the reinforcements that are going to be coming through.
Yeah, this is a great play from Formal, watching over that wall run, making sure that's clear for his teammates. It gives them a timing window to charge right on through. Even though there is a team kill for OpTic Gaming, Elevate will break on in, and now they can go ahead and get their first lead of this game.
Yeah, they've done, you get a close spawn though, at least for OpTic. With 15 seconds left, they'll have 1 more crack at this to try and pick up the scrap time, but so far, Elevate able to hold on, and they've done just enough. The first half of the Turbine Hill went to OpTic, Elevate broke through. Here, around 20 seconds or so, they're able to break through. So, doing enough, keeping this close. We are going to have a tie game as we rotate out the drill.
Yeah, OpTic definitely slowed down from the beginning. A lot of that came in from the kill difference from what we saw at that first hard point to now at this point in the game. You saw Karma thought he had the kill. Thankfully, Zed's there to help him out. So it will be just a 3-man push for Elevate for the moment, and I love this from Karma, getting right in their face with the E-Rad. It doesn't work out there as Zed just uses that cover to his advantage. But either way, OG remain in control of the hill.
Yeah, we saw Karma yesterday. I think you and I were casting. I know he's an aggressive player, but he was playing even more aggressive than we see him sometimes. Even in Search, man, it felt like he was just holding forward yesterday, being the guy with Scump to hit those initial engagements. We'll watch him throughout the course of this, but it's wow, with some beautiful shots onto the head of Zed, trying to wrap in behind one, but unfortunately pinched from both sides.
And that's a perfect example, right, of a gunfight that Formal is just better at than almost anybody in competitive Call of Duty. Few players can hit shots like that on someone pre-aiming from that back box area. Still, though, Elevate putting up a great fight, continually spawning from that rock side. It does look like OpTic will get a little bit of scrap time, as it's, again, a formal battle right now at 12-6. He's leading his team in kills, he's leading his team in objective time, and he's back in the hard point.
Yeah, this is basically right where he left off yesterday, and it's reminiscent of what we saw from General in the first series. Remember, he had, 2.5 minutes or so in the hard point, picked up a ton of kills as well. A lot of times you're sort of that last line of defense when you're playing in the hard point like that, relying on your teammates to slay around. Both players have been doing a good job clutching up throughout the course of the weekend.
And still, this pressure in this middle hardpoint, Elevate doing a good job of at least keeping 2 players near it, always ready to trade and lock down the hill. Following Reedy now off his spawn and towards his backside of the map. Watson still dancing around the objective. Elevate now take the lead.
This one back and forth. It's what you wanted here for OpTic Gaming. Elevate can Elevate play spoiler in this series. Earlier this weekend, though, yesterday they were able to take a game 1, then things sort of crumbled from there. Can they keep it going here? It's a dance party at Bridge. Wrapping around the back is going to be Watson trying to tag one up. Finally able to finish a kill. Elevate will be able to get a bit of time, but now it's going to be the rotation out. Let's hop over to Formal. He's set up top, finds the kill. They're going to be set up nicely here in Turbine, and look at where the spawn's coming in for Elevate.
Yeah, this is where it can get scary for the side of Elevate. OpTic in full possession of this hard point. They pushed out every single lane. Crimsix is nearly halfway across the drill side. as they have not even gotten close towards this hill yet. Already 20 seconds earned for OpTic Gaming.
And let's see where Crim spawns. Oh, God. So that death does hurt you. A lot of times, if you die that far off, you're trying to push out lanes, you still have a chance to spawn in close. But the perfect job by Elevate, they get that one pick and they go. They make sure they're hitting from the top, hitting from the bottom. They have to spawn the whole way out.
Yeah, there was no open spawn on that side of the map, which is why it all works out for the side of Elevate. Honestly, this is the best case scenario if I'm an Elevate fan right now with how they've been able to break this hill. They just win the gunfights they need to, and they're staying even with OpTic Gaming and Slang, which is why they've given themselves a chance in this map.
Well, both teams doing a brilliant job on the retake. First, it was Elevate. Now OpTic busts through and will get the final 15 seconds. And now it's the swarm of OpTic pushing across the map, trying to get set up in hangar. Formal has FTL to work with. Raided's going to find the first kill. Formal tagged up and likely going to drop here momentarily, but a good job staying alive for a moment. But as that happens, OpTic Gaming's going to have another crack at this. But look at they need
to slow down. They need to slow down for a second, wait for their teammates to push across towards this back spawn side. Crimsix already forcing the agenda. Scump wins the one-on-one gunfight against Zed as well. And now it will be time for the green wall to surge on through.
Well, there's one player here. It's going to be Raided. This one-on-one fight with Scump will be huge. Scump doesn't miss a bullet, and there you go. 35 seconds remaining here, and they're trying to rack up the time, but just like that, you feel like you clear Elevate out, they're swarming back in immediately.
Scump has gone 7 and 16 from that first drill hard point. He's just had a slow map so far in this one. 154 to 150.
Right as you say that, he gets 2 kills.
And he does get the 2-piece there with the ERAP, but this is the hill where you expect him to excel with that weapon.
Okay, can Elevate keep it going? Watson on the kill feed with a few. Zed trying to get on the action as well, trying to pick up players as they're going to rotate out to the next hard point.
That was a good play.
He gets away with his life. Let's see it set up. Let's go to Reedy if we can, because Reedy will be the first point of attack for the players pushing on through. He already did find one on Formal. You see on the minimap, Scump is just to his right here in drill control. Everybody drops around him. Reedy's going to have to go huge. He's already cleaned up 1 kill. Fantastic job staying alive. The Flood's going to come in. Pre-fires the door, has to reload, finally get dropped. Scump goes big here at drill.
Honestly, that's great, though, from him just to stay alive. They're going to pop the Centurion down as well. Elevate want a bunch of time right now on this drill hard point. They've got the side they want to lock down. They've got the payload now in the hill. No streaks, no payloads for OpTic Gaming. This has all the sights of it being a full time for the side of Elevate.
And a big part of this too, you know, we talked about Raided in the slaying department, but Watson's been massive. 23 and 17, a minute to go on the hard point as well. We'll watch Zed for the moment here. As you see on X-Ray, the OpTic Flood going to be coming in shortly, but it's Raided picking up everybody from the back. He's got camo to boot. They're going to get the final 10 seconds here, and they're going to be looking at a 20-point edge right now in Game 1 over OpTic Gaming.
And now look at the slang from the side of Elevate. You've got Raided at +3, Reedy also joining him in that same stat line, and Watson at +6. They've started to take over on these kills in rotation. Even now towards middle map, it's basically all red with Karma just barely getting involved for OpTic Gaming.
And you've heard confidence from Reedy, from Raided about matching up against OpTic. I know Watson said, he's like, hey, at Vegas, we were up 2-0 over them. We should have beat them, but we fell just a little bit short. They think they can play with them, and right now they absolutely are. But now OpTic starting to roar back. Karma currently on a 3 streak. It's Reedy trying to bust through. 4 streak now for Karma. He's 150 off the Trinity Rocket.
Big.
Oh, if he would have got the kill, that would have been massive, but he gets
big.
25 for the assist.
That's big, and there's the spawn out from Elevate too. Crimsix actually gets a split spawn there, so he's able to cut down a couple. And Zed with the team kill, so that actually couldn't have been more perfect for OpTic Gaming.
Yeah.
They're still forcing the spawns out because Crim gets that split spawn. Elevate are not ready for it. It's full streaks now for Karma as he's begun to take over this map.
He's just hip firing over the top. The streak ends at 7, but he's got all the toys to work with now as it comes down the stretch. And you got to think, as we get over, even if Elevate has done a really good job of breaking into Turbine, right? We've seen them do it 2 or 3 times. You have the streaks to now work with if you need to. So you'll be able to bust in easily with OpTic.
And look at double Scarab push with the Centurion. OpTic want to end the game right here. They put a lot of resources into this hill. They've got camo as well. Elevate need a perfect push if they want a chance to break this hard point.
It's Karma trying to push out. He's going to get
I don't think that's needed. I don't think that's needed right there.
Last time it happened, no, see, but they still, I was going to say they should have the top spawn, but look at where the 4 and 3, look where Crim and Karma pop the whole way across the map, and this is now 2v4.
Karma's been very vocal about this, where the first people to die wind up spawning out in these gunfights. It's just, it's not ideal, but Formal somehow gets...
Oh my God!
Formal, a one-man army right there. The bombardment gets dropped down. OpTic, they want the scrap time, though, as they push 3 more towards the hill.
Karma trying to get in. The close-range gunfight going to go the way of Reedy, but it's traded immediately by Scump. But look at the minimap. You're going to have, what? You're only going to need 8 or so points if you're OpTic with the rest of this time. This hold from Elevate on Hangar has to be flawless.
Yeah, and they are in position. They still actually have a Centurion across the map as well that OpTic Gaming players are running right by. 241 to 210. Raided, the player we're watching right now, trying to hold the spawns. Gunfights, though, going inside the hard point. Scump with reactive armor with one, and that should do it now. Elevate spawning on out. OpTic Gaming, it was not pretty, it was not easy, but they're going to take...
The FTL jump got him in. Reedy just able to get in.
Take map number 1, 250 to 213.
Nobody else there to back him up, though. But that's been a couple shaky game ones we've seen out of this OpTic Gaming side. You know, we saw it in the series yesterday versus Red Reserve. Now with Elevate starting a little bit slow.
Well, I mean, that's an example of the potential of this Elevate team that when they were formed, so many people were excited about. These are not bad players on the side of Elevate. Obviously, they've mentioned the under practice they have. At times they can butt heads, but this is a very talented European squad when they're all on the same page.
And sorry, no, the slow start was versus E6, but they were down, what, 100 or so points, had to fight back here. It was just back and forth. We had a ton of lead changes, brilliant stuff throughout from both sides. But what was the key player for you? I know Formal had that crazy kind of 4 or 5 piece, but didn't really lead to a lot of time down the stretch.
You think towards the end of that map, especially, it always just seems like Karma finds a way to be that little light that his team might need when the rest of his squad isn't there. And with the 7 streak he gets, they wind up dropping down the Centurion. Did have a questionable play pushing out that catwalk lane when they really didn't need to. They had everybody ready to go and watching. He did it twice. He did it twice. And
well, Krim happened to once, Karma had happened to once as well, and they ended up spawning all the way in like the back hanger corner. It's a long trek then across Scorch.
Most certainly. Well, OpTic Gaming, we know them for their prowess as a team in really every single game mode, and they've been pretty dominant up to this point here in the Infinite Warfare season.
OpTic Gaming's roster is one of the longest standing, winningest, and most talented teams in the history of competitive Call of Duty. Just shy of 2 years ago, Scump, Crimsix, and Formal made the roster move that would define this team when they added the 2-time world champion Karma as their fourth. At times, they've looked untouchable, but at the start of Infinite Warfare, that was far from the case. OpTic began this year with a cloud over their head, reminding them of their 7th place performance at the CWL Championship in 2016. Their fall from grace continued, as they were eliminated from the CWL Vegas Open by rivals FaZe Clan to finish 6th. Fans began to question the drive and dedication of this squad, and for the first time in this team's history, the community began to speculate if a roster change was needed. On the verge of another poor finish at the CWL Atlanta Open, a Game 5 Round 11 1v1 clutch by Karma against Panda gave this team the kick they needed. Let's go, baby! Since their incredible losers bracket run to finish 2nd, OpTic Gaming have won back-to-back major events to not only regain their title as the undisputed best team in Call of Duty,
it's all OpTic Gaming,
but secure the #1 seed in the North America Pro Points battle. Heading into the CWL Global Pro League, OpTic Gaming have all the momentum in their favor. At one point, between Paris and Dallas, they won 23 straight maps on land. During that run, they looked as strong as they've ever been as a lineup, which is definitely saying something, considering all of their championships they now have as a team. On top of that, the reigning MVP, Scump, is looking to hold on to his title from Dallas, where he put up a ridiculous 1.17 respawn KD and a 1.22 S&D KD. OpTic Gaming are a force to be reckoned with. A lot of their recent success has come from their improvements in Search and Destroy. At the CWL Dallas Open, they won 84% of their maps in that game mode. This is in part because they have arguably the best player currently in competitive Call of Duty, in Formal.
There goes the jump though! The FTL jump, too strong!
And the man with 30 major LAN championships, the most all time, in Crimsix.
Crimsix lights up the kill feed!
Tune in May 12th to the 14th to see how OpTic Gaming performs in Stage 1 of the CWL Global Pro League. And we are back. You see the road here for OpTic Gaming. Maybe there was a bit of a rough patch between champs last year and then to Vegas, but since then, they've been lights out.
Oh yeah, it's been smooth sailing, and that's where they are currently in this group now. A 7-2 map count, the best of anybody. 2 maps away from a 3-0 start, beating everyone that would mean in this group so far. They're looking quite solid, about to head into Game 2, Search and Destroy. And this, for me, is absolutely a must-win map for Elevate. We saw some brilliant moments in that map, but Elevate towards the end just fall off just a little bit. OpTic make big individual plays to secure that one, 250 to 230.
We had pretty solid games just from a slowing standpoint from Watson and Rated, but Zed and Rady lagging a little bit behind, and that's what's tough. Will that work? And do we see teams getting outslayed and winning hard points on occasion? Sure, but against the likes of OpTic Gaming, not usually going to happen. They're going to punish you.
I want to see OpTic Gaming just work together as a 4-man unit on this map. Many times they send someone off by themselves. Normally in the past it has been Crimsix towards that inside A site. They just wind up throwing rounds away because they just don't have enough pressure towards that B area. Also keep an eye on Formal potentially with the sniper, who will be the one to try to contest him in middle map as this game develops.
Reedy, I would imagine. Maybe we'll see him pull it out.
Either way,
White flag.
he's waving the white flag even though he's winning in the series, so
I surrender.
I'm sure that's what his opponents will be doing if they try to push the middle lane here.
Let's see how he is able to play off the break. If you're Elevate, you have to be expecting him to pull it out. You saw him sniping quite a bit yesterday.
Yep.
On throwback, yeah, they're not even going to tease middle. It's a 4-man hit very quickly at the B site. Expect a very quick flank here from Elevate.
So there's pros and cons to sending Crimsix to A by himself, because at times he can be 4-man hit and overwhelmed, but at times when he does stuff like that, he gets full knowledge that there is nobody here for Elevate, and they're able to get a quick plant because of it. Crim just trying to stay alive, but there's 4 red arrows now chasing him down.
Yeah, I don't know if he even saw the one. I thought he got eyes on one player, but he does a good job staying alive. Now he's going to have a good opportunity to collapse. Krim should see a player right to his right, able to win.
How is he able to get that?
I have no idea. There should be 3 players here spotting for him. The next one comes in for OpTic. The first round goes their way.
Crimsix should never be able to get a kill when they know he's about to jump out of that top bridge window. They saw him go towards that area of the map. Karma does a nice job cleaning up Reedy here. As OpTic, they just use their information they get early on in the round. Formal spots nobody in that mid lane. Crimsix spots nobody inside the warehouse, and they just expect the 4-man push through B. It's exactly what Elevate do, and because of that, they get a quick plant.
Yeah, and the 4-man push through B, I thought they were going to at least send some through to kind of tease in the flank, but they all 4 wrap back and tried to perform the retake that way. Unfortunately, OpTic Gaming a little bit too strong. Who started out really well? So Karma did pick up a couple of kills there. You saw him with the last one on the kill feed. Now let's see if Watson can strike first. Did he get a glimmer maybe there? It's tough to tell sometimes with the X-ray if he saw him there on bridge.
No, they know where a couple players are. Reedy does kill Crimsix, and this has all the signs of it being an Elevate round win, especially since they're able to get out with their life. They planted the bomb in a spot, Maven, where they can see it from this backside of the warehouse, so they're in a perfect setup right now to defend this objective.
Well, Rated most likely going to be the first to deal with an entry, trying to keep an eye on the mid lane and also here through
Such a slow play from OpTic.
Yeah, they're all going to hit from the bridge up top. Rated's going to have to react now momentarily. He just saw a shoulder for a moment. He should be pushed here, but it's Formal finding a kill, turning this into a 3v3. 15 seconds left. Formal is tagged up. Somebody's going to have to get on the bomb here shortly. Almost another kill with a pistol. But Karma able to trade it out. It's now going to be Scump in a 1v2. Not enough time to work with here. And like you said early, it took too much time for that to develop, right?
Took a little bit too long. I believe Formal got an unfortunate hit marker as well on the player inside you for that second shot. They did what they could, but yeah, I mean, when you're waiting until there's only 25 seconds left on the clock, you leave yourself in situations like that. It's a 2v2, and their hand is forced to just have someone hop on the bomb, and that's not ideal. If they have an extra 10 seconds, they can play that entirely differently.
All right, so tied up now, 1-1, heading into round 3. Let's go with Karma. He's got the most kills right now with Rated on the other side. Rated, who struggled mightily in Search and Destroy yesterday, picking it up right now in the game 2. And they're mixing things up as they're headed towards the B site.
So this is a little bit different from OpTic Gaming. There they send Crimsix into A. The second he spots someone, he immediately rotates with his team to give them a number advantage towards this B side.
Instead of lingering, right?
I like that change, and they're taking control of Rock side. So yes, Karma should plan on this right side of the bomb so they can watch it right through that middle lane. This was a smart play call from OpTic Gaming. Good shot calling.
Krem gonna find the first blood. It's now on Rated and crew to try and counterattack here. Trailing by a man, 2 people soaring in at him. It's turned into a 2v1 quickly. Make it a 1v1. Karma and Watson. Karma over the top, finishes the kill and clutches the round.
That right there is a beautifully played round from OpTic Gaming. They get the quick plant. They don't wind up keeping anyone too far back so they can keep these trades going. Karma gets a call out that he's one shot and cleans him on up.
Yeah, all you got to do there, just effectively trade when you're set up in that post plant is exactly what they did. It got scary for a moment once it was down to the 1v1, but like you saw, the Elevate player extremely tagged. Easy kill there for the 2-time champ, Karma. All right, now let's see how the attack develops for Elevate, their second time around on offense. And they are sending a lot to the B sites. You see that number 4 on the bottom of the map. That's going to be Karma that's waiting. He's going to be spotting this. Need to call out to his teammates to rotate. Can they catch him? They see him in the back. It looks like they want to push him out. Karma should be dead in just a moment. He somehow still stayed alive, allowed a little bit of time for his team to rotate over, but good job picking him off.
They saw a shadow the whole time, so even though they couldn't spot him directly, they could just see his shadow bouncing back and forth. This is a ticking time bomb now as look at Reedy on that mini-map, flanking right on through. Could be the thing that swings this round, or Rated will just do all the work for his squad. It's a 1 versus 2. There it is. Good cleanup from Elevate as they bounce back.
Yeah, Krem gets stuck in a tough 1v3. I believe finds 1 kill before he drops. But yeah, Reedy on that flank. That was going to be over eventually. And here you can see it. Finally, it does come through. Catches Krem off guard, and he's able to win it.
Smart plays right there from Elevate.
Well, yeah, you
go on the late flank and catch OpTic off guard.
And at the beginning, I mean, you know there's typically going to be one player playing at the back rock, just trying to spot. They push it out and get that early kill. They had advantage from the get-go.
So now what do you do if you're OpTic Gaming? You've shown your hand a couple times now on offense. And now I think, now I think Elevate, this is the worry at times. And Crim's is changing things up. Yeah, look, they're just going to
warhead this
and catch us off.
I love this.
Free two-piece. There it is, Crim 6. He reads Elevate like a book. He's done the same thing in the first 3 offensive rounds. This time, he doesn't peek and shows himself. Instead, holds in a corner, and Elevate try to push on through to overwhelm him and rush him in a 4v1. Instead, it's Crim getting away with 2.
Those are the mind games, but even after the big play from Crim, you still find yourself in a 1 versus 2 somehow for Karma. He has camo, though. This is very, very winnable. And he's gotten in behind one, chasing the kill. The timing couldn't work out for him. Just saw his leg on the edge. There's the first kill. He has camo to pop if needs. He's going to go ahead and pop. Just play behind the rock, trying to find it. There's a little bit left. There it is at the edge. And there's the clutch for Karma.
Is there anybody in competitive Call of Duty that you want in a 1v2 like that? Other than Karma, I don't think so, especially when he's got camo to use right there. Zed was ready for the trade, but when your opponent is fully invisible, a little bit tougher to make happen.
Yeah, and he has no idea, right, that he's popping camo. If he had known, maybe he retreats on the wall run, lives to see another day once that runs out, but tough for him, certainly. Had he pushed to try and trade out immediately, he was going to get caught by the camo. There weren't a lot of options for Zed there.
Thankfully for Elevate, Raided's having a great game, turning around from his rough day 1 of Search and Destroy to already have camo himself. Karma now going to try to work towards his second one of the game.
And they're playing very aggressive up on the A side, pushed them back, and now the wrap's going to happen. So how will the defense respond? They're going to wrap all the way around the backside.
Well, I like this a lot.
This is, a little back and forth here.
I like this a lot from the side of Elevate. All mind games. This is what I like about Crusher, Search, and Destroy. There's so many routes that you can take that your opponents cannot see. This is the second time this game now where they've gotten this free plant inside of A, and they'll be able to run right away and play towards this backside again. Do OpTic Gaming pick up the pace this time, though, so the clock doesn't wind up being their enemy as well.
And if you're Reedy there, I mean, maybe play a little bit more sneaky, allow somebody to run by to find the kill, but it's Zed inside that's able to get one. Can Scump trade it out? Scump trying, Scump wins it. Now, all on Watson in a 1v3, 25 seconds remaining on the clock. He's able to win the first fight at mid-map. Scump drops. He now has to take out Formal and Karma. He's trying to get to the edge. Oh, he has to get him off the bomb. If he gets 2 more bullets there, probably doesn't matter as he's going to get traded out, but nice effort from Watson.
Formal was ready for it, gets the headshot as well. Watson was not getting away. OpTic Gaming changed things up, and think, last time in that 2v2, that's a way different story, because OpTic Gaming, that was a 10-second difference, right? Let's say Watson does kill Karma right there on the bomb. Formal has more than enough time to hop on himself. There, though, if OpTic took that 10 seconds like they did last time, even if Formal got that kill, he would have had enough time to go and defuse it with how little time there was left on the clock.
Okay, well, here we go. Round 7. Elevate down a couple of rounds. Some team shots, I believe, coming. No, unless he got tagged from the, the top bridge. Okay, Krem watching you. Karma working on the plant. Look at how close he is to Trinity Rocket as well. He'll be just 150 away.
I think they have to retake the camo here from Reedy. Yeah, Reedy's going to wind up, or Raid is going to wind up pushing right in with camo. Great job by Elevate to just overwhelm OpTic. It's Formal by himself. Easy, easy job. That's what happens when you have camo. Smart use right there.
Yep, so both players using their camo effectively for OpTic and for Elevate. And Elevate now just 1 round away. And they played them very tough. I mean, the hard point, back and forth, tons of lead changes. Here it's been, OpTic's never been able to run away with it in the search either. Nope. Playing them very tough, but God, I swear, that's just a story of a lot of these EU teams over the course of the past few weeks. They will play everybody tough, but when it comes down to those final couple moments, it has not been going their way.
And I think of what we saw back in that hard point, it was them hanging close, but then individual plays made the difference. The 3-piece from Formal, the 7 streak from Karma. Is that the same thing that plagues Elevate here? We'll have to find out. Reedy looking to switch things up for his team. And it all starts right now with this KBS longbow.
Well, if he hits the outside edge, he's going to have a line of sight on one of them. Here he goes.
See, this is a very popular push from OpTic. When they send 4 towards B, they have the quick wall run hit from Karma as he soars right through at the E-Rad. Look, he's already got shots on the Reedy. First blood OpTic Gaming. They bring the pressure right to the side of Elevate.
And that's the last thing you want to have in your hands if you're Reedy there, right? Have a sniper as they're soaring at you. Karma does drop in the next gunfight to the K-bar of Zed. It's going to be 3 versus 3, just under a minute on the clock. Zed will be your bomb carrier, and they're wrapping towards the A site.
Again, this does look like it should be a plant from the side of Elevate, but look what Formal now has. FTL jump, pops behind 1. Can't win the gunfight, though. Nice job by Watson to give his team the number advantage.
Well, they've got 3v2. It's turned into a 2v2 by Crim6 now on Zed, able to turn it into a one-man show for OpTic, but the same moment, Crim is going to fall. Nice round from Elevate. They tied it up 4-4.
4-4, man. They're keeping it close. You gotta like what you're seeing right now from Rated. Staying consistent in this map so far. They need him, especially as this gets into the later rounds. Camo used by Formal. FTL jump used by Formal in that round. And it doesn't wind up converting a kill.
So Crim will be the only one with the payload right now, but look at Elevate. They've got several players getting very, very close. Zed, Reedy, Watson. And the first shot's got Crim a bullet away from finishing a kill there on the cross. And you got to love it, though, man. These positions he's been playing on A, he's been mixing it up basically every round.
See, that right there is just a bad play from Rated. He's hitting that outside B wall run. OpTic have done this every single offensive round. Crim6 to A, 3 to B. He just solo hits the wall run with no trade opportunity. OpTic get a free kill.
Watson does answer back, though. Jax, it'll be a 3v3. Watson, who is spectacular in the opening game, now finds himself all by his lonesome. Can't get the kill on the wall run, backing up for now, and
I like this a lot.
Goodbye.
He's gonna try to get off the map. Can he lay down? Yes, he will. Okay, so that's big. That's big because Karma is still alive on the map. Karma gets that kill. He's got camo for this round 10. A second camo, that is.
And I can't remember the last time I saw 2 camos. I remember 0 at Dallas did it a couple of times, but it's pretty rare that you see multiple camos. That comes a lot of that, half of it. Hell, he's probably earned an entire camo just from defuses and bomb plants.
If I'm OpTic this round, I'm trying to bait for Karma. Get him that kill to give him the camo. We know how useful of a tool it is. Set him up to be successful here.
All right, the other side, take a look at Reedy, who's just very, very close to that FDL jump. And they are playing very passive. I mean, it looks like they were expecting an early hit, an aggressive push on defense from OpTic Gaming. That's not at all what they got. Now they're going to start to build forward. The lone man on the top side of the map is going to be Crim6, but they'll be able to rotate over here to try to take out the Centurion.
That'll go ahead and tell OpTic Gaming all they need to know. It's an 8 play. Zed will earn reactive from this, which could be a saving grace for Elevate to force around 11.
Crim does get the opening kill, though. Karma mid-map looking to entry. 1 kill will likely get him camo. He has a Scarab to work with as well. Hasn't found anyone yet. Tries to snap on the first. There's going to be the reactive armor, so they take him out. There'll be no camo here. 2 versus 2. Scump and Crim. It's now Scump by his lonesome. Watson going off. Can Scump trade the kill? There we go. 1v1. He's just going to take out Rated. 20 seconds on the clock.
He has no idea. He has no idea. Rated playing this so well. You go ahead and see Rated. He's so confident that Scump's not even going to go near that bomb. And look, Scump's checking every corner he can. Not enough time. Ironically enough, if Scump did just hop it, he would have gotten it. But how would he know that? Round 11, we're going to it.
I love
it. Here we go.
I love it. Great play by Rated. Where was he tucked in that little cubby there at mid-map?
He's just holding out wall. Scump didn't know where he was. Never showed himself. So who has offense? Karma didn't earn camo, and it's because Zed winds up popping that reactive.
Let's say that was the biggest kill of the round there for sure. I mean, if he doesn't have it there with that E-Rat at that range, he probably gets the kill against that K-bar.
Another big kill though was actually Watson, who stayed alive inside U.
Got 2.
And he did get 2. So they're going to do the same thing OpTic just did. Drop that Centurion down at A and then play for a 4-man stack at B. This is such a smart setup from Elevate. They're ready on this site. Karma might be the first one to show himself as he's already looking for this first kill, but no! Zed with the first blood, 2-piece on the Scump! And there will be no second camo for Karma in this game.
All right, now, who's going to clutch up? You have man advantage right now for Elevate. They're trying to back him up. Here comes the Flood.
GG.
Who's going to win these gunfights? They're swarming. No, Formal and Crim come up with the gunfights. Now going to be 1v1. Formal bursts right in, the push comes in, and Formal wins the 1v1.
How?
What the hell just happened?
How? How? I said GG. I was like, oh, there's no way they win this.
Well, it's 3. You have them pinned in the back rock in like the back alley. 3 are flying at 2, but the 2 gunfights go, the opening gunfights go the way of OpTic Gaming.
Formal smirking. He knows they just got away with one right there. In round 11, Zed goes huge for his team, and they're not able to close it out. And what did I mention? Individual plays right there at the end, clutching up that 2 versus 4.
Yeah, and that was on Formal and Crim, and Formal's had some late game heroics already this week. And you think about the end of the Frost uplink yesterday, the 5-piece kind of in the hard point there where he goes big in Turbine, and now a 1v1 to end the search. So that's what's so scary, as we were talking about earlier for OpTic Gaming, not just Formal. Any of these guys are capable of pulling off 1v3 type scenarios, winning those 1v1 gunfights. God, it's just like you feel like you always favor them in those spots because they come out on top more often than not.
Crazy to see. And now OpTic Gaming are 2-0 up in this best of 5 on the verge of a potential sweep. That would drop Elevate down to 0-3, not the start at all that they wanted to have in this group.
God, it's what, a 250 to 220 type game, round 11 here. Elevate so close, but so far still searching for that first win. We'll see if they can find a map here in the uplink after this quick break.
Here is your G Fuel key player matchup between Elevate and OpTic Gaming, with OpTic currently sitting at 2-0 in the map count in this matchup. One thing to note though, coming into the series, both Karma and Zed not quite where they want to be statistically. We always know though, Karma, stats don't matter for him. It's the plays that he has that get the job done. But Zed, with the breakout year we saw from him last year, was typically the one leading the numbers for his team. Expected though that he is struggling with how Elevate have played so far this weekend. They need to turn things around right now if they want any chance of the reverse sweep in this best of 5 versus OpTic Gaming. This has been your G Fuel key player matchup. North America, Europe, as well as APAC.
Nobody can stop this man. 30 seconds left and Gunless gets through. He gets 3 kills. Can he win it? Oh, it barely.
Are you going to live through this one?
I am.
Not only do we have a 500,000 playoff around the corner, but we've got Anaheim, baby, and I can't wait. Like I was talking to the OpTic guys outside yesterday, and we were just like talking about how much money there is. Like if you were able, imagine if you won Stage 1 playoff, Stage 2 playoff, and won champs. Like there is so much money in these next couple months.
If you get top 2 in your group this weekend, in any of the weekends, you qualify for $2.7 million in tournaments for the next 4 or 3 months now at this point. So
yeah. Last
I checked, that's a lot of money for whoever is involved. 6-5, OpTic Gaming narrowly win that with an insane 2v3. It's technically a 2v4, but they did get a very quick trade in that round 11.
Yeah, and you know, Karma was brilliant throughout. You saw a really nice clutch and a camo play from him. But Krim, I mean, you were talking about the different defensive things he was doing towards A. You saw the sneaky play where he was able to pick up an easy 2-piece. Krim ends up with 11 big kills for his squad, and he was in that 2v3 with Formal, went huge as well.
Ironically enough, the only round where OpTic Gaming don't plant is round 11, and that was where Elevate sent 4 players to B and forced the objective. Zed's, it's not good. Zed's waving the white flag to start off this game 3.
Uh-oh. Well, you know, and think about it. I think Karma had 5 plants. So yeah, he would have had all 6,
yep.
But he dropped.
That's how math works.
Zed did what he could. I'm a mathematician, man.
Okay, add that to the list of things that you are.
I'm good at everything I do.
Kick right off with a couple nice kills for Elevate to at least grab this drone and be able to dictate where it goes on the map. This should be a 1-point throw unless there's an interception from OpTic Gaming.
They go over the top, and there it is, flushed through. So you see that throw all the time, just up high off the wall, over the top of the building, and nice job putting points on the board for Elevate quickly to open up this first half.
And Watson, he's just going to wait here for OpTic Gaming players to push on through. Smart stuff from him, no reason to panic. That cluster grenade will stop anyone from trying to trade this kill. As already Elevate, this is looking better than a lot of what we saw at times at the end of maps, but they've seemed to always start off strong and hang right away with OpTic Gaming early in these maps.
Oh, that's sort of a frustrating one there. You get the beat down on the scump, but Raiden puts a bullet in your head. Now Zed trying to get up in the air for a kind of a last-ditch effort 1-point throw, but he will be cut down. So OpTic Gaming holds serve in their base. They give up 1 point to Elevate through that opening wave, and now they're going to attempt to counter back, but Watson doing a good job holding the edge so far. Watson's been brilliant, man. His shot looks great.
Yeah, and he's just going to, again, play his life, not getting overly aggressive after a kill. Baits himself there, actually, for Rated to kill Formal. So I like what we're seeing from Elevate. Again, off this break, 3 dead. Watson on this 3 streak. Does challenge right away. Now he needs his teammates to trade. Don't think it's going to happen this time around, though.
And if you think back to yesterday, where OpTic, I believe for me, looked the most vulnerable, was in that throwback uplink that we casted versus E6, and they just, communication seemed to be off. They were constantly being shot in the back. I talked with the guys about it too, and they were as frustrated as we thought they were. Maybe they can fix some things here, but so far, this is like what we saw yesterday, is 0 offense.
Yeah. A beam right there from Rated to stop Formal as he shoulder peeks that top station corner. Elevate do hold. So now 2 minutes into this game, OpTic still remains scoreless as they'll fight for drone control and middle map pressure yet again.
And you got to get, yeah, I think they were 2-11, Krem and Karma here to open this up. Not having the best start for the 2 guys that were carrying the load there in the search and destroy, but it's early in this one. Zed just narrowly gets cut down on the edge, but Rated is still there. Can Rated grab the drone and get through a toss? Nope. Formal cleans it up at home, so very narrowly another 1-point opportunity for Elevate gets shut down.
What I do like so far from what I've seen from a couple of the European teams of this map is that they're not afraid to push towards this construction side when trying to score. Yes, they might struggle in those long-range gunfights against the likes of Formal towards that back park area, so instead, bring this close range, get that ERAD pressure going. Crim6 with the team kill on the scump should stop any pressure OpTic can have unless he's able to get this final 2-piece. No, Watson to stop him as Rated will play through middle map.
Rated back to mid, and this time it's Karma getting the better of him. I think Formal helping him out a bit there. They're trying to push through Cherry Blossom, but Formal here waiting. Him and Scump, the duo, get it done. Shut down any kind of push from Elevate. But you still have seen 0 offense out of OpTic Gaming. Is this their opportunity? They got control of mid-street. Watson, though, clutches up with a kill in the back alley. Can he go big? Peeking out the back, Krem able to shut him down, but drone got reset during all this. So, yes, you've got control of mid-street, but nobody picks up the drone, and still no offense from OpTic.
Yeah, and the drone was in an awkward spot already in that back gas area. They could never really grab it. Karma doing whatever he can to just buy his teammates time to grab that objective. Finally, Scump gets it, but it's after Karma's done all his work. The throw intercepted. I don't know if that would have gone in anyway, but either way, 4 minutes into this map, and it's still a 1-0 game.
They finally get a throw away. doesn't come up with any points. Karma, though, still has drone. Zed going to try and shut him down here at mid-tarps, but he's gotten into Ticket. Karma trying to get through. Crimsix picking up a couple of kills, and now he will grab the drone. There's the one-point throw. Krim gets it off before he gets cut down. They've tied it up at 1-1 with 60 seconds remaining, and now the race to get back to lobby.
And yeah, and Zed's going to match. I believe that is Scump from OpTic Gaming, or no, sorry, Karma right there. As they will go ahead, grab this drone and go for a 4-man play. So far from Park, they haven't really got anything going this entire side, and I mentioned they just look better when pushing construction. Reedy going to keep that pressure towards that side of the map. This should be at least one.
How? Someone's got to finish him there. You need to get points. Reedy's going massive. He kills all 3 now. But surely it's tossed all the way back behind Statue. They just have to get it up. The dish should come in. No, he gets cut down, so it'll be a deep 1-point throw. And there you go. I mean, Reedy was just, there was no one even looking down to respond to him as he killed all 3.
It was nearly a double interception there from OpTic Gaming. Reedy, I'm sure he was wondering how that was even that close for how many kills he just put on the board for that push. Either way, Crimsix, so many times this map, we've seen 2-3 pieces from him to make it impossible for Elevate to try to push with this drone. And at the end of side 1, just like we've seen in the first few maps this series, it is a very close game that can be won by either team. But do we see the same thing that's plagued the European squad so far, which is failure to close out maps?
Well, it seems, I'm just curious if something's a little bit off maybe for the comms for OpTic. Krim and Karma started really slow. Karma hasn't really picked it up. I don't know if it's one of those situations where he's kind of getting baited right now. I know they joke back and forth, but he's been trying to, I believe, be the drone guy, but no one's really, it just seems off, man. Like any of the pushes we've seen from them are not very coordinated. It looks real scrappy. They don't seem to have a lot of control.
Well, we've seen OpTic that last half go twice towards that top station side, and both times raided with its NV4. There was no one there to answer. And anytime they try to push towards gas, it just never really kind of got things going. Nice first blood from Crimsix. This is the start you wanted to see from OpTic. 3 dead, grab the objective, all 4. Now they can go for their first solid push of the game as a team.
Yep, and this is guaranteed points here. There's only 1 player in the back. They want to go for 2. There's the dunk. Karma puts it through, and we'll see if he heats up a little bit through the second side. They've got a 1-point advantage now. Karma finding more kills. Him and Krim, again, the slow start. They both really started to pick it up. Krim leading all Slayers right now at 16 and 12. Karma trying to get behind and pick up Rated there, but he does have his buddy Krim to clean it up.
And again, 3-4 dead. OpTic will go ahead and push forward. Oh no, the drone just reset. There might be time now. There might be time now. Krim is actually going to pop overdrive to make up for that lost few seconds. Reedy just double team killed.
What?
Reedy just a 4-piece from Reedy where half of it is his own team.
What the hell just happened in the Elevate base?
That's now what, 4 team kills this map for Elevate?
I mean, you see 1 all the time. Like someone gets weak, they put a bullet in, but not usually a 2-piece team kill.
No.
What was that?
Takes some skill to do. Crimsix still commanding middle map. He's looked great with this NV4 so far. It's 3 dead again for Elevate. Only 1 player off spawn. Formal did use that FTL jump on that push show. OpTic to get that dunk, use FTL jump as well as overdrive.
Yeah, and this is like, I mean, been the opposite of what we saw in the first half where there wasn't a whole lot of offense. It's been all pressure now from OpTic. They've been set up in power positions. Krim on the statue can do so much damage. Karma trying to flank in through that mid lane, but does get cut down. There's still a few players alive for OpTic, but all the kills now going the way. That's everybody dropping. Elevate now has full control. Somebody's got to get the drone. It'll be Zed wrapping back to pick it up. Reedy doing the damage here at mid-street. This is a very good opportunity to get a 1-pointer at least off the board. It should be up and away now. There's the toss. I think a little short.
I think OpTic were there to intercept it no matter what. So again, Elevate remains scoreless inside 2. So far, that's been 2 minutes of play, and look at the payloads. Right now, nothing available for either side, and that's got to favor OpTic Gaming in the long run.
Yes, just having that lead here. Scump, though, going on a bit of a tear. 4 streak right now. He's getting close to the Trinity Rockets. Has 1 more at the edge, able to clean up the weak player. Scump, 5 streak. Just trying to get some streaks here. 1 more gunfight to win. He needed 1 bullet, I believe, in Rated there, and he would have been able to pick up the Trinity Rockets.
Dude.
Rated is shooting lasers.
I'm telling you, man, that's like the 3rd or 4th time now I've seen him just snap right under Formal and shut him down. This could be a completely different map if he's not able to get those kills. But even here, just that first entry from Scump onto Watson, again, the 2-piece. I don't think there's any reason to challenge him right there in that lower tarp area, especially with an NV4.
Yeah, and I mean, Scump's just going on a flare right now. as he's definitely erupted. We've got 2 minutes left here. Karma back the lobby. He's going to be a nice flanking position. There's one. Another Atarps will get called out to him. Can't get to the edge. Teammate hasn't cleaned it up either. Karma just trying to play his life at the moment.
And this is smart from Karma. He's dancing around, just bought his team a few seconds to get in the positions they want to get to, and the drone resets. So Elevate will have to retrace their steps, go back towards middle map. 90 seconds remaining from what could be potentially a 3-0 sweep from OpTic Gaming.
Okay, well, Scump trying to get behind. Does the drone pass get off before that? Yes, 1 point. Only trailing by 1. It doesn't look like any payload's going to be available except for maybe Rated down the stretch here. And Watson, if he starts to pick it up, Karma still working on this camo. He's going to go high off the wall run. He's going to get shot in the back, I would assume, as soon as he picks it up. Almost snaps on the Reedy, though.
This has been a bad map so far for Karma from what we've seen from him. 14 and 24. It's quite rare you don't see Karma achieve the ability to get that camo,
but we've been,
especially in an uplink.
Think about all the times we've gone on with him. He's usually been trying to hit flanks, flank, be annoying. So even though he's not picking up a lot of kills, he's at least shifting some focus there for the Elevate defense. Formal with the ×4 multi-kill.
Yeah, and Formal just tries to keep the drone alive. Throws it back down, plays his life to just get the drone in the Elevate base. Do not let it reset quite yet. Raiden has camo. That right here will be the ability for Elevate to come back and potentially win this game with the last second dunk.
For OpTic right now, your best defense is your offense. Yep. Keep that drone, keep going forward. Don't allow Rated to get into a position. There's the pick. There's 3 down now for OpTic Gaming.
Rated's here
Rated's got it. He's got camo. You got to stay alive. Got to play your life. You need somebody to look over him. There's the first pick. Watson's got it. 18 seconds left on the clock as it's starting to develop. He doesn't get forward.
Formal does it. The 2-piece. Camo dead. GG's all around. A nice hold by OpTic Gaming as they get the 3-0 sweep to start their day 2 at a perfect 3-0 record.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, man, we saw E United do something similar to Luminosity last week. The best way to shut down a camo player, don't let him get to that edge, that perimeter where he's going to make a play with camo. Raiden never had a chance to get anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew Formal was in that close pocket corner near that top station area. Elevate now dropped to 0-3 in this group as OpTic Gaming continued to push right on through. 3 very close maps. You cannot take that away from Elevate, but 3 times where a couple different gunfights could have made them the 3-0 series victors in this situation.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's probably, you could look at like the final 15 to 30 seconds of gameplay in either of those, and it could have gone Elevate's way for sure. So they play them tough, but that's the part that hurts, because a 3-0 is a 3-0.
Yes.
You don't get any maps there. I'm sorry, but close is not enough. But maybe does that build some kind of confidence for Elevate, knowing they played them that hard?
I don't know. Maybe it does. It's not the start they wanted either way. Maybe it tilts them even more because they knew how close they were.
And they got 3 maps yesterday, right? Yeah, because they went to 5 games with reserve. They got 1 in their first series. So they've got some maps under their belt. God, 1 or 2 there, that would have been huge.
Yep, most certainly. And that's, again, something to look back on. This is another series to reference as the weekend goes on where, if Elevate do a little bit better here, close out some of these maps, maybe force a game 5, we have a different story. But for now, that's a tough loss. OpTic Gaming still look very, very solid.
And Krim, the man that dropped the 11 kills in the search and destroy and went clutch with Formal in the 2v3, is on stage with Christopher Puckett.
Thank you so much. Krim and I were just joking here. You mentioned he dropped 11 kills. He pointed out I also died 11 times. But Krim, this series was much closer than a lot of people here in the crowd thought and a lot of people watching online. How do you feel coming off of it? It was a 3-0, but every single game was tight.
Yeah, I think we just got a little overconfident from yesterday, and Elevate, they were the last in the pool, so we thought that today might be an easy day, but clearly every single one of those maps was close, so got to start warming up for our next match.
Now, I promised Chance I was going to ask you this next question. Game 1, you guys started off a little bit slow, but towards the end it was very tight, and Rated popped a camo over on the Turbine Hill. I know Scump was able to get the kill. Were you guys aware of the payloads being used? Do you know how that play broke down?
I don't remember that at all, to be honest with you, so sorry to ruin your question. I mean, they were talking about it. I don't know who killed him. I think it was Seth or Damon, but
we got the kill.
I wasn't there, so I don't know where I was, but...
Now, just talk to me in general about your guys' gameplay. We've seen the strength and some hard points. We've seen some struggles on day 1 in Search and Destroy, and another very tight uplink here. What do you feel is currently the team's greatest strength right now, and what has been your weakness so far this weekend?
I think definitely hard point. Hard point's definitely our strongest, and that's sort of what we wanted to aim for this weekend. And it's just, our S&D's good. we know it's good. So we're just, trying new things, practicing different stuff. And the one thing that we can practice that you can't really steal strats on is hardpoints. So.
Last question here for you is about your opponents. Now, we saw Elevate. They went down 0-3, but this is arguably the toughest any of the 3 teams have played you guys. What is the strength of this squad? We're going to see them playing Enigma 6 next. What should Enigma 6 be looking out for, if anything?
I think it just comes down to matchups. We've never really been super good versus like unorthodox teams that, haven't played together a lot. And I mean, they said that. So it's just we play better against like structured teams and teams that, we think play right, but there's no right way to play IW, so.
EU playing the game a different way, but you guys are playing perfect so far. 3-0. That's Crim6 and OpTic Gaming for now. Let's send it back to the desk with Benson.
Thank you very much, Puckett. Great to hear from Crim6, of course, and OpTic Gaming. Congratulations to them. The perfect start. They managed to defeat everyone they played so far. No real surprise there, though. I think it's fair to say what many of us expected. We'll talk a little bit about that series, though. Of course, they come out and they get that 3-0 victory. But map number 1, Merc, it was pretty back and forth. Elevate, they stayed with them for the most part, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what we talked about. If there was a game that they could stick around on, it was definitely Scourge Hardpoint. They did a very good job. And something that I thought was a little bit interesting was just Hangar and Turbine. Those hardpoints, to me, they split them. Look at that number 2 and 3. And the biggest thing to me was OpTic, they were setting up, but then Elevate would break pretty quickly, and that's not something you see all the time. So a huge surprise and a great job by Elevate to always disrupt those OpTic Gaming rotations.
Of course, you saw there in that graphic as well, Formal has a fantastic map, but I believe I can send it down to the wonderful TP on the Telestrator to break down map number 1. Teep.
Thanks, Ben. Talking about that hard point, Elevate did such a good job for most of the map of locking down that turbine and keeping it even at Hangar. But the clip I need to break down for you guys first as we get this rolling is how OpTic was able to clutch up in those last couple of moments time and time again. Here they are. We see them on the rotation, focusing on this on the rotation from Turbine over towards Hangar. You see in the bottom of your screen, Karma picks up the first, gets traded out by Rated, but look at who's right there with him. Formal picks up that kill right away, and as soon as he realizes that they have numbers, Scum can just hit the front door, has to isolate that 1v1 gunfight, and that's how they just make it look so easy. Breaking Hangar isn't the most easy thing to do, but when you spread out your setup like that and isolate those gunfights, Elevate probably should have set up a bit tighter in the hill, but they aren't able to do it. So let's break that down as we explain why they make things like that look so easy. So starting off on the rotation, the person you need to highlight first is Karma on the bottom of your screen. He gets to this back rock area over here and isolates that first gunfight versus the player in the back. When he's able to get that, that allows the rest of his teammates to flood up the map where they want to go. They look at the kill in the kill feed. Scum hits wall run. Crim hits that top alley right there. Another isolation 1v1. Crim gets the kill up here, which opens the door for Seth to get to the front door. And also, Karma getting that kill opens up the door for Formal to get around the back. So they insta get that trade. Karma gets taken out by Rated. Boom, right there. Formal answers back onto Rated. He's able to block this spawn over towards the back. This back area is where you're trying to get to. Once you get that, you're basically set and solid. That allows Seth to just run through the front of the hill, get that last gunfight in the hill. OpTic does it time and time again, making it look so easy. That's how they're able to close out that last hard point. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Teep. Obviously, he says OpTic make it look easy. Teep makes analyzing it just sounding even easier, that's for sure. But obviously, OpTic, they take map number 1. Then we move over to game number 2. And we kind of heard it from Crim6, Chance. OpTic, they know they're good at search and destroy. They're now kind of, testing out some new things. And you saw that as well. They're not afraid of changing their strats.
Yeah, they employed quite a few different things. They would play B passively, where they leave a player back rock, scout for information, then back up if they know there's fours. One time, they just 4-hit B on defense and played as aggressive as possible. Saw a lot of success with it. Even on offense, they were mixing up. They hit A a couple times, and then once that, they knew they were going to get red, then they let Crim play very, very passively, let players run past him. He picks up 2. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is at B. Of course, Karma making plays with Camo was always going to be huge as well. He's, he wins rounds for him there. And ultimately, I think that was the biggest difference maker. But yes, they mixed things up.
And speaking of Karma, Apathy, he was the one player that you kind of came over and you were like, hey, he just won them that game. He just won them that map. What impressed you so much about the way he played?
Well, Karma, on top of planting bombs and getting the kills, Camel, like Chan says, is really, really, really important in Search and Destroy. It's basically an easy round win. and then he clutches a 1v2 with camo, and then towards the end, he almost gets it around 11. Unfortunately, he did get first blooded. You know, one of his teammates weren't watching the cut, but they do win 2v4. But I really felt like Karma was a big reason why they won, especially with the camo use.
And obviously, you mentioned that 2v4, Merc, that last round. I mean, it looked great almost there for Elevate to start with, but then OpTic, they just seem to do it time and time again. They clutch up.
Yeah, it just seemed like Elevate isolated 2 different gunfights, and their timings were off. They had a guy stuck in that back corner. You saw that grenade go off. He was obviously weak, but Elevate, their timings were off. One guy hits inside, one guy hits outside. That's 2 1v1 gunfights, and the last guy, I believe it was Rated, but he was stuck in the back by himself. They have to wait for one another. They know they have that guy in a 3v2 situation. It should be an easy clutch, but just a few mistakes, allowing gunfights for Crim6 and I believe Formal. Formal is able to clutch up that last 1v1.
Yep, he manages to take that round 11. That gives OpTic Gaming the 2-0 lead. Then, of course, we go over to map number 3. And Chance, at the half, it was actually Elevate in control. They had a 2-1 lead. It was looking great for them.
Yeah, for one, Europeans matching up against North Americans have been doing very, very well in uplink so far in the Global Pro League. And interestingly enough, for OpTic Gaming specifically, when they played Red Reserve, was it yesterday, they outslayed them by 15 kills and only won by 1 point. They then played E6, outslayed them by about 6 kills, and they lost by 5. So they're kind of relying on that hefty slaying power just to kind of keep themselves in these games. And it was sort of a similar situation, at least through the first half, where yes, OpTic was doing okay in the slaying category, but they were still getting outplayed in uplink.
Yeah, and then just watching these last 30 seconds, you see Rated, he has camo, but OpTic, they're able to get drone control. I mean, Rated was able to get a flame. This is a great interception by Zed, but they weren't able to capitalize on this camo, and this is one of the things that European teams, they just have to get better at, is that payload usage. They should be able to at least tie the game with 20 seconds left, but his teammates weren't able to pick up those kills, and again, OpTic just clutch up when they need to.
I feel like every time we kind of come to the desk, we're often talking about that payload usage and how sometimes it isn't being used properly. But either way, OpTic Gaming, they get the 3-0 win, and they are sitting pretty now at the top of the table. But of course, we are now halfway through the day, and we still have so much more action as well. And honestly, this week, I think could maybe get a little interesting. You see, obviously, Enigma 6, that game against OpTic Gaming, we were kind of doing the maths about it. If E6 was to come back and maybe 3-0 OpTic Gaming to close out tomorrow, you never know, right? I mean, obviously, apathy for you. I mean, you're that #1 seed. You definitely don't want OpTic Gaming coming in.
Yeah, definitely want OpTic Gaming first. I would rather play E6, 100%. And I feel like E6 has the potential to do it. You know, we can easily see a 3-0 if they come out hot. The games versus OpTic were pretty close the first time, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, as I said, now officially halfway through the day, still with so much more action here at day 2 of the final week of the regular season in stage 1 of the Call of Duty Global Pro League presented by the PlayStation 4. Both E6 and OpTic Gaming with solid starts as they battle it out for the #1 spot. But up next, Elevate searches for their first win of the weekend as they face off against Enigma 6. We'll be right back after this.